So wrong.
So wrong?
So wrong!
Well,
I am surprised you missed this because Sneaky Hembo, in all his glory, in his parrot shirt, is absolutely...
that's such an obvious one. I forgot he existed.
So obvious. It is so
obvious.
Guess who's number two, though?
He didn't even crawl. I was thinking Dante Culpepper. And I didn't even think about Cam Newton.
I mean, guess who's number two? This is really weird.
Disrespect.
Yeah.
You think you can spin
Steve
a football?
Rogan's number two, by the way. Hembo and his parrots win. And look at Hembo trying to spin the football. Wait, here we go. You are actually, it's unbelievable. This is how he makes up for it. You might be able to
stump me, Hembo, but can you do that?
Look at that.
Just take pictures off the wall.
Whose picture is that you're spinning, by the way? Let me see.
So
of course it's Tom Brady.
Awesome.
Of course that's the one.
We're going to put this back on the wall.
Oh, yeah, why don't you do that?
Might take it home.
Show
it was a gift. The painting was a gift, Hannah.
A shrine in Jeff's house. You can light some candles in front of this. Won't that be lovely? And then when you're just feeling crazy, you can just take it for a spin.
Let's move on.
All right, let's move on. This has gotten way off the rails. Let's play a little game of right or wrong. By the way, great job, Hembo. Okay, D Wood, the Chiefs will win the AFC West, right or wrong?
Wrong. I'm going with the Los Angeles Chargers. It's that time for Justin Herbert. He's, to me, a superstar quarterback at a very young age. He's got all the weapons around him. The Chargers have continued to build the offensive, fortify the offensive line. I love the pieces they've added on defense. I think it's his time.
Wow, the Chargers are kind of the trendy pick there. We shall see. Okay, Mike, the Eagles will win the NFC East, right or wrong?
Wrong. We talked about Dak Prescott for a lot of this show. He's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, who is a young, improving player. He needs to consistently get the ball down the field with better accuracy. If Jalen Hurts does that, look out. This will be a great team, great offseason, highlighted by A.J. Brown's acquisition.
Really prove-it year for Jalen Hurts. And finally, Darlington, the spinner, spin this. The Ravens will win the AFC North, right or wrong?
You know what? I think that's right. I think that if Deshaun Watson is suspended for any length of time, it's going to really put a hamper on the Brown season. And ultimately, I don't know that the Steelers have the quarterback situation figured out.
All right. Okay, so short and sweet. Let's keep it right there because we have more to discuss with Lamar Jackson, who addressed the criticism that he's received lately, most notably from one of those super annoying anonymous defensive coordinators who keeps saying silly things this week. And this one told The Athletic, and I quote, if he has to pass to win the game, they ain't winning the game. Here's what Jackson had to say about that yesterday.
It's anonymous, so I really don't care. Like, he's anonymous for a reason, it's all good. When you're trying to be great, when you're trying to work your tail off, it's going to be negativity. But, they hated Jesus, and I'm not Jesus, so I don't really worry about it.
Oh, Woody, we haven't had you on yet to talk about this. So first, what do you think of the criticism itself?
I can't stand anonymous people talking. I mean, listen, put your name out there. If you got something to say about Lamar Jackson, put your name out there. Because I can guarantee you whoever this defensive coordinator is, come Baltimore week, he's scared to death. He's scared to death because Lamar Jackson is unlike any other player that we have at the quarterback position in the National Football League. He's a, people talk about, his passing game. His passing game is pretty good, folks. If you go and look at the numbers, the dude can throw the ball. There's no question about that. And we know how elite he is as an athlete and as a runner in that Baltimore offense. So, listen, I think Lamar Jackson has just done everything the right way, has responded to critics pristinely. And I expect Lamar Jackson to come out here and have a huge year with all the people that they're getting back after being decimated with injuries last year.
Yeah, listen, he has had plenty of practice responding to criticism. People have doubted him since college, Woody, and the way that he responded to this, Jeff, just give us a little bit of insight into him and his nature, because this seems very, very typical, the way he handled it.
Extremely authentic in my time getting to know him, and I've just seen him interact with his teammates, and you can see why he ingratiates to them in such a way that we now look at him like you're almost rooting for him to figure this contract thing out in a way that you normally don't. I remember being in a locker room one time, and the PR guy hands him a stat sheet, and he looks at the stats and like, wow, I did that? He was like so, in a non-cocky way, just so impressed in a genuine way, like, holy cow, look at that, this is so cool. And I just think that rubs off on his teammates. He's a likable, genuine human.
There's a lot of ways to handle criticism, Mike T. There's a lot of ways to handle drama. And with your quarterback, those things can either build a team up, they can take them down, they can diffuse situations. You're in the front office there in Baltimore. You're in a contract negotiation with this guy, and this is the way he's handling not only the criticism, but also the negotiation. What are you thinking?
I'm rewarding that behavior immediately because everybody else is watching how you handle things, and he is beyond reproach. On the field, he's been a league MVP. Off the field, he's the essence of what you want, and he embodies everything you believe in. So you want to reward him as quickly as possible, because the next time you have a contract issue, you won't have a holdout, you won't have a hold in, because people will see that Lamar Jackson handled things the right way and he was rewarded. So I actually see it as an even bigger opportunity if I'm the Ravens, because I want to send a message to the rest of the organization.
We keep seeing quarterbacks rewarded who really haven't done much in the postseason. Listen, Kyler Murray is the latest example. Dak Prescott, his team hasn't won a playoff game since 2018. So we see a lot of big numbers. So that postseason is not necessarily a referendum on how much money a quarterback should make. Nonetheless, that is one of the reps on Lamar Jackson is the postseason. Telling our Adam Schefter quote that it is not looking good. He screamed loudly when he was injured, threw off his helmet when being attended to by his trainers. And now the Bucs interior offensive line has some serious questions. Even before Jensen's injury, they were going to have to replace the production of Pro Bowl guard Ali Marpet, who unexpectedly retired this offseason. Also guard Alex Kappa, who signed a 4-year deal with the Bengals. Jenna Lane was there at practice to watch this whole thing go down yesterday. Jenna, so already some big news out of Tampa. What's the latest information that you can tell us this morning?
Good morning, Hannah. The mood turned somber very quickly yesterday when Jensen went down, and I can tell you it feels a lot like that again today. As far as Jensen goes, he underwent an MRI yesterday, according to sources, but we're not going to have any sort of diagnosis or any additional updates on that, probably for a few more hours. But it was reiterated to me on multiple occasions yesterday that it is not looking good, and they believe this is a significant knee injury for Jensen. And you mentioned already that Brady is going to have 2 new guards this coming year, so he may potentially have an entire new interior. And, back to the mood of just how quickly things changed here in practice. I asked GM Jason Light about that, and he said that is what happens when you have a player of Jensen's caliber and also a person of Jensen's caliber. A lot of players yesterday after practice, I was on the field with them. I saw numerous prayer circles taking place, and you could also see it in Brady's body language, Tom Brady's body language. He had his head down. He knew this was a serious injury.
Yeah, Brady came back to win another championship, and this is absolutely a huge blow. So you mentioned Jason Light. I imagine he's already been on the phone. Jenna, what are their plans to potentially backfill this position? We don't know how long he's going to be out, but in the meantime, however long that is.
And knowing the type of recruiter that Tom Brady is, I'd imagine he's already been on the phone as well. I think they're going to go after a veteran there. But as far as the immediate replacement-wise, Robert Hainsey is a guy that will be stepping in, at least on the interim basis. He was a 3rd-round draft pick last year. He only played 29 snaps, though, a converted tackle who moved over to center. He played 29 snaps on offense last year, but that was with Blaine Gabbert at quarterback, not with Tom Brady. He's never snapped with Brady in a game.
Wow. Jenna Lane, thanks so much. To be continued for sure, as one of the many reasons that Brady has been so successful in his time with the Bucs has been the quality of that offensive line over the last 2 seasons. Brady has only been sacked on 3% of his dropbacks. That's the lowest by any quarterback during that span. And we all know that this is Brady's MO, right? He needs that clean pocket pocket to operate. He likes to step up and make those throws. So as we bring in his former setter, D. Woody, also Mike T, Jeff Darlington with us. Damian, knowing what you know about Brady and what he needs from that position, how serious is this loss potentially?
Well, listen, Hannah, make no mistake about it. This is potentially a huge injury. I mean, we're talking about one of the better centers that we have in the National Football League. And if you look at the Bucks, particularly from last year, all three interior guys or interior spots, they've moved on, whether it be, via free agency, retirement, and now injury. So, the Bucks got some work to do. Obviously, they traded for Shaq Mason, the right guard, and now you got to deal with the Jensen injury. That's not going to be something that's going to be easy to replace. So, Tom Brady is one of the best, maybe the best quarterback that I've ever